Yeah, they ain't gonna like it. They ain't gonna like it. I be getting to the money. Everybody mad. Think I'm getting too much money. Everybody mad.
A 44?
I think in store it's 44, but online I think they go up higher online. But in store, I think that's the highest you're gonna get.
Yeah, at least 44. a 40, 42, 44. And you know what's crazy? I know more guys that are like 38, 40 than I do that are 32, 36. Like,
but it's just like-mindedness. You're attracting people that are like
you.
Yeah, because I feel the same way. I know more bigger guys than I know smaller guys.
I know more people that can fit my clothes than the clothes will overwhelm me.
Basically. So we're going to segue from there into our intended original topic. But I wanted to dive into Myles. I wanted people to get to know you. I feel like you're a bit of secretive.
You know, I wouldn't say that I'm secretive.
Dark and mysterious.
I would say that I'm mildly mysterious, though. Like mildly. Mildly Myles. No, I don't know.
No, definitely not mildly. It's very.
I don't know. I just try not
you
to.
You have less than 100 posts on your feed.
You know what? I'm actually looking at my personality traits for a quiz I did, and one of the personality traits is reserved. I think that's a decent way of putting what I try to be. That's a decent way of putting it into words. Because I'm not always, like, you know, I'm not always recluse, and I'm not always, like, loud and boisterous. You're not always going to see me doing something crazy. You're not always going to see me doing something that's, you know.
Demure.
Yeah. But I am naturally reserved.
Well, anybody that drinks wine to me is demure.
I do love some rosé. I do. I'm not even gonna lie. And I just like it. I do. That's what we're drinking, by the way. So
rosé. Oh, top some more.
Okay, we're gonna finish this bottle off.
So we were originally got together to discuss ghosting. So what I wanted to talk about is why is it acceptable or unacceptable in your opinion? Because like we said before we started, this is all based on nothing is factual. It's personal opinion about
and based on perspective.
Yes, where life is taking you, what perspectives you have. So like I said, this started from the Kiki meme talking about people ghosting people, and then Myles saying, "That's me, that's me." So then tell us why you've ghosted someone, or why you felt the need to do it.
To piggyback off what Kiki Palmer said in the video, if you do something to me that I feel like has crossed the line about what I can handle and want in my circle, it is my prerogative to not talk to you anymore. And that's like, this is me saying harshly, but that's on period. I'm grown, I'm 26 years old, and if you do something that I feel like is disrespectful to me, and furthermore, I've told you about that and you did it again, what we gotta talk about at that point? We're not in kindergarten.
Okay.
I don't owe you, if you are not, especially on top of that, if we are not romantically involved, if we are not splitting bills, if we are not blood, like you my cousin, brother, sister, parent, I necessarily don't owe you anything.
Well, you never owe anyone thing, even if they were those mother, brother, cousin.
And that sounds harsh, even though I don't think I'm a harsh person. But
no, it's not harsh. I just wonder though. Like, this is the thing in my life. Like, I like clarity, right?
Okay.
So I'm the type of person, I will cut you off. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. However, in the cutting off, you're going to know exactly why I cut you off, because I'm going to build you a flow chart that shows you the door at the end of it, so you know exactly why we're not talking. So when people come up to you and be like, "Oh, you know where Kirk is at?" "Oh, we're not friends anymore." It's not gonna be the, "Oh, I don't know, I ain't seen him in a while." No.
Pause. When you are thinking about trying to cut yourself off from somebody, is that what you're thinking about? You're thinking about how they're going to answer the question of, "Have you seen Kirk?" Is that what you're thinking about?
No, I never thought about that.
Because that's not the perspective of which I tell people that they're in or out of my life. I don't be thinking about what they're gonna say to the next person.
No, I just no. It's well, I gave that as an example because even to themselves, I want people to know like why we're not talking anymore. Because to me, it's happened to me, like where someone stopped talking to me, and I don't know why they stopped talking to me.
Okay, I feel like
I've been ghosted, is what I'm saying.
Okay, no. I guess to give people that are listening clarity, I have definitely been on both sides of the spectrum. I have been ghosted, and I have been the person to ghost somebody. I feel like you have to use your context clues, especially if you are dealing with somebody that is not as good of a communicator as you are. I feel like I'm a decent communicator. Therefore, if you continually do something that I've communicated that I don't care for, I don't owe you another communication or explanation about it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, okay. All right. So in my new all right. So let's lead you up here to where I am now. I don't give as much.
I hope y'all got that because that makes perfect sense in my mind.
No, I get it.
Okay.
Right. I've already communicated to you that I don't like this. So telling you that we're no longer friends because you did something 5 times is another communication
that you're probably not going to get this time either. So why am I wasting my breath?
I totally get it. But this is where I've elevated to in my level of communication. I make it clear to someone these actions are not acceptable in my friendships. So if you want to be my friend, you cannot continue this action. However, if you continue this action, I will not talk to you anymore.
Is that like your final straw conversation?
Basically.
Oh, I don't feel like I need to have a final straw conversation.
No, but it's it's not necessarily final straw. It's one up. So like say we're playing baseball, the 3 strikes you out concept, right? So it'll be my second strike.
Got you.
That I tell you like you've already done this, do it again. The third one, that's it.
Maybe I'm just a little bit different because maybe I don't say anything on the 3rd strike or the 2nd strike.
You don't say anything on 2nd strike either?
I feel like we need to.
So you say something once?
Maybe twice. I'm not.
Twice is pushing it.
If we are of a certain age, I'm not going to keep repeating. And I guess this sounds harsh again. I'm not going to keep repeating what it is that I like or ask for in a friendship or relationship. Because why didn't you understand it, or at least have the receipts to go back and sit on it and think about it?
You know why?
Why? Like, why
because,
are you not thinking about it?
All right.
If you are so concerned with being my friend or being in a relationship with me, why are you not thinking and reflecting on what I'm saying? Am I saying it for my help?
No. I'll tell you why. Okay. So I feel like the 2 things come into play. And it's actually been a gift and a curse. But my minor is in psychology. And
I wish I had more wine. Sorry.
we gonna go pick up some more. Don't worry. But so one of the things is that I've come to realize and analyze that most people are not self-aware. Most people have no fucking clue about their actions. They just
and how they look to other people.
How they look to it.
That's fair. Yeah.
They do not hold up a mirror to themselves regularly to analyze their own actions. So that's why most people continue to do
the things
that they do. So half the time what happens is, that's why, if I can speak bluntly, because I'm gay, that's why niggas always come back. Because that's exactly why they always come back. Because what happens is they realize that they done did you wrong way
after the fact that they did you wrong.
Because that's when they got the perspective.
I mean, but
that's when they held up the mirror and was like,
I really could have done better in that situation. Okay, I get that, and I've been on both sides of that perspective too, because I have had moments where I'm like, damn, Myles, why didn't you see it as clear as day as the person was trying to reiterate to you? I guess I could have a little bit more compassion for people that aren't always self-aware. So I could curtail the amount of times I have ghosted. So when you look at it from that perspective, I get it. Like, some people just don't always see what they're doing wrong. But I feel like, going back to my point, if I've pointed it out to you enough times, I'm not going to give you that extra time because at this point it's shown to me
Like, you don't give a fuck.
that's just like you doing homework or at school. If the teacher's telling you one thing and you keep on saying that you got it, but you take a test, you make an F, you clearly didn't get it. So you need to go back. You need to go back and get a tutor or just rearrange that subject some kind of way because
that's
it's
one.
not adding up.
Okay, so I'm glad you went into that. That perspective you have is what the U.S. Department of Education has. However, that's why sometimes you take your child to a charter school or private school, and all you realize is that it's not that they didn't get it. You had to ask the question a different way.
Or teach it differently.
Teach it differently. And somehow, it's like you unlocked...
Well...
Right, but however, there's another introspective to that. It's not your job to teach people these things.
This is true.
So,
this is absolutely true.
It's not. So I feel like a happy medium to that, where I've come because I've been the person who's tried to dig things into people. Like, I'll tell you the same thing 100 times and you never get it. And then, just like the saying says, when you try to put broken glass together, you get broke.
You get sliced.
And that's what always happened to me. So now I've learned from my mistakes, but I don't necessarily just ghost people once they do something to me. I give you a 3-strike rule. You do it once, I'm going to tell you about it. You do it the second time, I'm telling you that if you do this again,
but you know what?
We not talking no more. And then once you do it the third time, I just stop talking to you.
That's so relative because as you were saying that, it depends on what I know the analogy of like 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strike, you're out. It depends on
the severity of the strikes.
I get it. I get that analogy, but it depends on the severity of the strike because we're not playing baseball. We actually like playing with people's feelings and emotions and livelihoods. If you do some shit on that first time, and I feel like this is
and it's too bad.
I'm not owing you a second or third strike.
You know what? I got you.
I guess it depends on where you are in life because I mean, 18, 19-year-old Myles wouldn't have said that. I would have just been like, people deserve a lot of chances, and to a certain extent they do. But when you get around, when you're closer to 30 than 20, not saying that 30 is some grand old age. I can't wait to be in my 30s, Lord willing. You start having a different perspective on who you are as a person and where you align in the world, and you just know certain things are not going to be tolerated if you expect to have peace in your life.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and I will say this. So
Period.
all of my patientness goes out the window for any human being that is over 45, because at that age, if you don't know no better, I do not play the radio with people over 45.
People over 45? You be talking to them? Like, what kind of level?
So what had happened was, so what were we saying? Listen,
I'm gonna leave that alone.
People, I mean, it goes for both though. It's not just people I'm romantically involved with. It also goes for people that are people that I know, like friends. Like, I do have older friends, and so I don't have as much patience.
Maybe that's part of my perspective
for
as well.
older people,
because me with my stature and me being like the big guy, I'm always the big guy in groups of friends. That lends itself a little bit to having older friends, if that makes any sense. Because people equate height to age for whatever reason, which I get to a certain extent, but after like 15, or 16, whatever. Anyway, if I know that I'm the youngest person in a group of friends and I'm having an issue with you, how come I can see it more clearly than you can? If I'm dating you per se and you have like a really decent age gap on me, and I'm just like sitting and thinking on some things that I just don't think
understand.
Like, how come you can't see that? You're older than me. You should have a little bit.
Those people get 1 strike, just so you know. they don't get the second one.
Like, how do you not see it as clear as I see it? Granted, there are certain ramifications where age might not always equal, I guess, vision on something.
It never does.
Sometimes it should, though.
I feel like,
if you don't understand, like, for example, if you don't understand the concept of going Dutch on a first date and you are over 30, why don't you understand that?
Well, okay. Oh, okay.
Or, for example, since we're talking about severity of
a
of a strike, if we go on a first date and you act like you have no idea how you're going to pay for your meal, that's a reason for me not to want to go on a second date with you. Because
I've never gone Dutch on a first date, so I don't know how that works.
Oh, that's a different topic because I believe in that. I'm not saying it always happens, and it definitely depends on whether it's the 15th or 30th or the first. Like, it depends on when rent is due. So there's a factor. However,
you know what? I've always been the person in control of those things.
Same, but you need to order something that you know at the end of the day that you can pay for. Ain't no way I'm gonna let a check get to the table and I look like I can't afford it. Excuse me? And you looking at me like, oh, I can't. Like, you nodding your head like, nah, I can't take care of that. Excuse me? That's a strike, and I don't need to go any further with this relationship or courtship.
Cool. Listen, you right there. You know, okay. So I'll agree with the severity because that tells you so much about the individual already. Mm-hmm. So it's not like one character flaw. It's multiple layers of character flaws in that one action.
Okay.
So I can see it is because it's them showing they're not thoughtful. They're trying to take advantage of the situation. They're not financially stable.
Mm-hmm. And just not prepared.
And they might be a cheapskate.
Yeah. Or a scammer. Those are
alive. There you go. So
they are alive and well,
as a matter of fact, if you take away all those other things you just said and just add scammer, that's enough to be like, ghost. Scammer. So I changed my whole perspective, guys. Ghosting is okay.
It just depends. It honestly just depends. Sorry. Granted, I don't want anybody that's like listening to this or anything like that to think that I'm just at an instance ready to just give up on something that I've built or worked towards building with somebody. That's not the kind of person I am. However, I do think that patience may not necessarily be my strong point. So if I feel like you've tested my patience to wit's end, or I feel like I've been lenient on something, or I feel like we've been stuck in a rut on something and we're not moving past it, with keeping in mind that patience is not necessarily my strong suit, I'm going to just be ready to just be like, deuces.
So question. All right, so let's talk about levels of ghosting then. Uh-huh. So when you ghost people, does it mean, like, what's your level of ghosting? Explain that.
Not responding to text and calls.
Oh.
Is definitely ghosting, in my opinion, yeah.
No, because there's levels. Like, there's levels of ghosting. I feel like people have done it to me where they won't contact me, but if I contact them, they'll answer. I feel like that's a level of ghosting.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So it's like they won't pick up the phone, but they don't have the heart to not answer.
I'd rather just. What's the phrase when you just like chop somebody off?
Chopped.
I'd rather just keep the slice real clean. I don't want it to keep on staggering. Because if I feel like if you know you're already not going to reach out to somebody, why are you responding to them? You're giving them false hope. I'd rather somebody just literally.
I agree. I don't know why people. It happened to me.
That's why I
on
go
more
straight
than one occasion.
That's why I go straight to the severe ghosting, because I don't want you to feel like they're.
Yeah, but I don't think severe Listen, this is a real truth serum moment. I've been ghosted a few more times than I would ever like to admit. And I will tell you that
it's not necessarily a fun experience, but
it's never fun.
I don't know, man. If I go to the grocery store and give me a nice pint of ice cream and play some good music, I'll be realizing that I'm ghosted really quickly.
Not me.
Really?
Because I'm an overthinker.
And
I'm an analyzer, because this is. Oh, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna give y'all a tip.
I'm gonna give y'all a tip after your tip. I'm gonna give
another tip.
Yeah.
So, how I became an introspective person is every night before I go to bed, a part of my decompression process is basically like replaying the tape of life that happened that day, and that's how I'm able to gauge when, damn, Kirk, you could have done better.
Is that like a certain level of meditation in a way?
Maybe.
It is. If you're sitting down purposely reflecting on anything, that's kind of under the umbrella of meditation.
What do you call it? I do meditation. Because I never looked at it like that. But that's a part of my end of day process. I do a lot of, because especially if something happened, I won't be able to go to sleep until I feel like I've resolved the issue in my brain, and tomorrow I have a game plan of how to fix it. Especially if it's something I did.
Got you. That's fair. I get that.
So that's how I'm able to reflect on myself. Because I think about things and I'm like, all right, Kurt, you could have like toned down a little bit, or you could have been like not so boisterous. Because I'm very loud, and like 15 seconds into I'd be like, what the fuck you want? Like, so sometimes I think about that too, and it makes me feel like, all right, Kirk, you could have handled yourself a little bit differently. So tomorrow I'm going to be like, you know what?
But why, if that's how you felt in that moment?
Because I also understand that even though it's the way I felt, and it was the truest form of my expression, it may not, just because it was the truest form of my expression doesn't mean it was the correct expression for who I'm directing it to.
I mean, it's like, did you hurt anybody? Did somebody get hurt? Literally, like, was somebody physically hurt?
Emotions are real.
They are, but at the same time,
feelings are real too.
This leads me into my tip.
What's your tip?
This is gonna sound so. This sounds so bad. But if somebody has done you wrong, and I'm not saying I'm an advocate for drugs or recreational use of drugs, but if somebody has stressed you out, if you don't go find you a blunt and just smoke it and just inhale and exhale and let it go. What can you do? What good is it to sit up at night thinking about how you could have done something different when the situation is already past? We don't live in the past. Granted, I'm a firm believer in apologizing for things because we don't always get things correct, but that's a separate entity. You have to have
I feel like they're related.
They're related
because the reason how you know to apologize is because you felt you did something wrong, and in order to feel you did.
Though. Just like I'm related to my sister, we're also separate.
Okay, they're not mutually exclusive, but they go together.
I just don't.
They're couples that aren't exclusive.
I just feel like it is a waste of time. Going back to ghosting, it's a waste of time to, once you have realized that you've been ghosted, to sit and mar on it because that person.
Well, that's a process too, though. You gotta listen. Being ghosted is a process for you to even realize you're being ghosted.
It only take about a couple days.
No.
Listen. My method.
It took me a long time. Yes.
My thing is, listen. I'm a person who goes by like threes. I think the group of three, the number 3 is a good number. In this perspective of ghosting, my number is 7. Like Mary J. Blige said, in 7 days, and Tony Braxton said, in 7 whole days. If I can look back at our communication,
that was the first level of ghosting, by the way.
What?
7 whole days.
No, that's the end. That's the end. Like,
that's the end of it.
There's no way possible that somebody can ghost. Like, if I texted you on Tuesday and then next Tuesday come around and we have had no communication, unless there's a reason.
Well, clearly she didn't realize it.
Unless you respond with a reason as to why you went MIA for a week.
What reason could you go MIA for a week and I know?
That's what I'm saying. The reason has to be substantial. Either you were on a boat with no service, but even the excuse
you would know they were on a boat.
The excuse of I'm busy really does not hold weight in a 7-day gap.
No.
It doesn't. So
I'm sorry, busy doesn't hold weight in my book. Period.
Because I understand that people are busy. Doctors are busy, but I know that doctors are not going 7 days without talking to somebody that they care about or either work with or it's in their list of people that they communicate with. 7 days, if you have not heard from somebody in 7 days, consider yourself ghosted. Don't take it personally. Now, depending on like
Don't take it personally.
I was gonna say, depending on your relationship with them, if this is your husband, wife, y'all living together, but it's hard to ghost somebody when you living together or married to them. Ghosting is usually revolving around friendships and dating. You can't ghost somebody that you live with, or that you share property with, or that you share bills with. Okay. You can't do that.
Sure.
It's hard to do that. So with a friendship or relationship, or like a budding relationship, if you have not heard from that person in 7 days, consider yourself ghosted and move on.
Okay.
Get you some ice cream, get a blunt, get some wine.
Not ice cream.
Something.
Whatever works.
Because going anything over than like another 2 or 3 days whining about it is literally going to hurt you, and that person has shown you that they're going on with their life because they stopped talking to you.
True, and they didn't give a food.
Right? They don't like.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it. You got to break it down and give parameters to it and make it make sense. That's why I feel like I said in my Instagram post, I'm all for it.
Okay, so in the spirit of ghosting, I think that tip he gave was a great place to wrap up the podcast, because I felt like this is exactly what I wanted, a pure, organic conversation that went from left to right, all over the place. But I feel like we got the point across where we were trying to get to, and for that reason,
I think you should be selectively ghosted. You should be selectively ghosted and use your power selectively to ghost people. Because if you're getting ghosted left and right, that clearly has something to say about your character and everybody else's character.
See? And that's so no, all right. Glad you said that. So
that's just how I feel. If I'm on a first date with somebody, right, and they keep on saying how they were ghosted by guy after guy after guy, in my mind, I got a red flag. Like, I wonder what are you doing or showing these people to make them not want to talk to you?
See, that's not fair.
How is that not fair? You telling me what has happened in your relationships? Unless you lying, then there's no need. Like, what would you do?
Because the reason people ghost people because things people do to you have nothing to do with you.
Fair to a certain extent. I get that.
To me, the ghosting you're talking about is a bit more elevated and adult-like ghosting, I'd say. Because someone did something to you and you felt it was unacceptable. Mm-hmm. But the ghosting I feel like I've experienced has been 5-year-old ghosting.
5-year-old?
Yeah, so basically like... I'm going to give an example. It's not a real example, but it's something I just thought about because I saw it on Dear White People. Mm-hmm. You know when the lady was out with her daughter and she put ice in her wine and her daughter ghosted her?
Wait, what?
Yes, her mother put ice in her wine in front of her friend and her mother, which were wealthy white women, and the woman.
Well, first of all,
the woman was black and her mom is black.
Was it on a show or something?
Yes, it's on Dear White People. No, but I'm giving you an example. So the mom put ice in the wine, and the daughter ghosted her mother for 2 days. Right?
Oh, okay.
That's 5-year-old ghosting.
Okay, got you. Like, you mean 5-year-old isn't like throwing a temper change on?
Yes, the sediment of why you were being ghosted is very...
That don't qualify as even ghosting. That's like just the silent treatment. I'm serious.
Okay.
No, that's not. Hold on. Like, we're gonna get deep into it. The silent treatment is different from ghosting. Now, I hope nobody listening to this is lumping the silent treatment in with ghosting, because we can go 24 hours without talking to each other. That's more a silent treatment. If you did something like when we were out and you forgot, like I'm using this as an overarching example. If I was a girl and the guy continually forgot to open the door for me at the date, and I just wanted to remind him of being a gentleman, I might go to sleep without talking to him. That's not ghosting. or I don't want to.
That's petty.
No, that's just a reminder.
It's
but that was
petty wop.
I don't do that because I don't really care if you open the door or not. I'm just saying people do stuff like that. Sometimes you have to show people what they're missing to get their attention. That's why the silent treatment works sometimes. Ghosting is not the silent treatment.
It feel like
how?
Because
okay, well, hold on.
One is permanent, one's temporary, but it still has the same effect.
I saw somebody tweet something that said, "If you are," I wish I could go back to the tweet because everybody was amening it like it was just gold, but it was basically revolving on the fact that if you can go 24 hours
without talking
to somebody,
go your whole life.
Do you feel that way about your mama?
Yes. Oh, my mama?
But do you feel that way about your mama?
No.
Okay, so why would you feel like you're significant?
Because I feel like a romantic relationship is different than that relationship.
Personally
to me, I require a continuous level of communication.
Hey, let me tell y'all now, if y'all interested in me, I can definitely go 24 hours without talking to you. So, and that's not disrespectful. That's just me keeping it a G about how I know I handle stuff in my life. Listen, I don't even talk to my own mother every day. And she knows and I knows back and forth like the sun's going up and it's coming down every day that we love each other. Right?
It's not about love.
Yes, what else is it about?
I need to have continuous level of communication. I cannot go 24 hours without talking to the person I'm dating.
So what you gonna do,
God?
God forbid you get kidnapped. What you gonna do after 24 hours?
Kidnapped?
I'm just saying, I hate to be morbid, but I do watch a lot of Oxygen.
Cool. If we was kidnapped and you don't talk to me for 24 hours, that is completely different. You were unable to talk to me.
Maybe the person was unable to talk to you for 24 hours because they were busy. I get that one.
There is no busy in. Yes, there is. Listen. What was Beyonce's biggest fan from the Beehive, sir? Listen. Didn't she say that she was so busy on tour and Jay wanted to see her? He flew in for 6 hours just to see her to fly back.
Come on now.
I don't care how busy you are.
Let's be clear. Everybody does not have private jet money to go get up and go see somebody.
You don't have to have private jet money, but the dedication is what I'm talking about.
Okay, listen. Let's go back to
these phones is always in most people's hands.
It has to be situational. Say I wake up at 8 o'clock a.m., right? If I wake up at 8 o'clock a.m. and I'm a doctor or a lawyer or I'm a principal or I just have a really, really stressful job, and we're not together that day, right? Obviously, we don't live together, right? We're talking to each other, we're dating. I get back to my apartment, shower, take myself to sleep, and I don't wake up again until it's time to start the day over again, and it's 8 o'clock, and I haven't texted you back. Does that make me a bad person?
That's 12 hours.
That's 24. I said I went to sleep.
8 a.m.
Yes, think about it.
But why?
What you mean why? I had a long day. What if I had what if somebody cut me off in traffic? What if somebody cut me off in the way to something?
So somebody cut you off in traffic. Babe, this person cut me off.
Everybody's not like that. Some people, depending on what you went through that day, you just need a moment. You got to give people their moment. You have to. So I would never say.
You know what your moment is?
What?
From 8 to 12.
No,
call me on your lunch break.
No way. That's why.
You know what's your break? From 1 to 5. Call me when you in traffic.
Nope, I don't agree. Even
what's your break?
My friends that I talk to every single day know that I can go 24 hours without talking to them. So if my friends that love me, I talk to them if I regularly talk to you every day and I just have a day where I'm just like, you know what? Let me get my little piece together. Let me get my chakra together. Let me get my shit together. And I can stay 24 hours away from you. I should not be penalized or be thought of as ghosting. Just saying.
All right. Let me say this.
7 days? Yes.
Let me say
hours?
this.
No.
Let me say this. I have 4 best friends, right? And one of them just earned the right to not call me for 24 hours.
Really?
And we've been friends for almost 13 years.
And then y'all talk every day?
Yes. Up until this year. And I understand why. So I'm comfortable. But 24 hours is actually the limit. Like after that, fuck you doing? Where you at? What fuck you at?
I think it's just different strokes for different folks.
One time I got on a plane because he didn't answer in 2 days. Like, fuck you doing?
Okay, well 2 days is a little bit different than 24 hours.
Sure, but
I don't know. I just feel like it's definitely situational. It depends on how you were growing up. It depends on how you love affection. It depends on how often you like to be bothered with people.
See, so you just said that you looked at your communication language, right?
Well, it was like a personality trait.
All right, so underneath this episode, I'm going to drop a link to, there's a test that you can do. It's a personality trait test.
Is it the MTID something?
No, that doesn't sound like it.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, it's not a personality trait. It's your love language.
Oh, okay, got you.
My love language is words of affirmation.
So is mine. One of my high ones.
So we need to talk all the time.
I feel like talking all the time kind of goes under. Well, no, it doesn't really go under that. But I feel like if you can't go without talking to somebody for 24 hours, you are more physical touch. Because that's one of the love languages, and I feel like words of affirmation.
Well, so it did take a while for me and this best friend to like get to the talking every day, because it was weird because I was used to seeing him every day. He lived down the street.
And you saw him every day?
Yes.
See, I'm not good with that. I have neighbors that literally can walk over here. I don't want to see you every day. For what? For what? And that's not me being disrespectful. That's not. For what? Can my face breathe?
Well, I also my friends are a lot like me, so if you attract the likeness of who you are.
This is true.
So the people you attract are also gonna understand.
This might change. I mean, hopefully this changes when I get married, because obviously I want to spend more time with that person. But I definitely
Are you? It doesn't change, by the way, just so you know.
What you mean?
You have to find a partner that understands that's who you are.
Well, maybe we're going to have a house big enough to where if I just need a day to myself, he can sleep somewhere else and I can sleep somewhere else.
There's definitely not none of sleeping apart shit. But definitely something you, I mean, because I've dated someone who's like you.
Like
so,
what? Need a space?
Yes.
Or reserved or whatever?
So if I were to do that relationship all over again, I would have you day, me day. I didn't understand what that was until we broke up. So perfect example. He was explaining to me things he needed and I didn't understand them. Cause to me it felt like rejection. But really what it was saying that like it is actually rejection, but on a low level, not a high level rejection. It is rejection.
But you felt rejected, but he was just simply doing his best to accommodate you? Because he was a reserved person and didn't have to talk to you every day. But you felt like he was rejecting you even though he was doing his best.
Yes.
See, you got to understand each other. You got to understand.
No, because I would never do that relationship over again.
Okay,
because
fair too.
What I didn't understand was that that's not the person I should be in a relationship with.
Fair.
That's not the person for me.
Gotcha.
I need someone who wants to see me, talk to me every day. If we don't see each other every day, the bare minimum is talking every day.
I get that.
That's the ground floor.
That's fair.
And I'm looking for ground zero. What they call that building? What's the name of that building? The Twin Towers. You need to be 100 floors up. I can't do ground floor.
Yeah, I get it. I
mean,
that's very fair.
But if I were to do it all over again, I understand one of the things we'd have is you day, me day, where you have an entire day where you live your, I don't know
best life.
You doing, but
live your best life.
do whatever you're doing as long as you ain't.
Yeah, as long as you're not disrespecting the relationship that you're in.
Then do whatever you want to do that day. That's you day. And then we come together because we're sleeping in the same bed together. We're not doing that.
You speaking on like committed relationship vibes.
That's the only thing I'm about. I ain't about nothing else.
Oh, I mean, I'm all for getting into a committed relationship, but you cannot just hop into one. I'm not but just hop into a relationship with you and just see you every single day because I like you so much. That's not how I made up. That's not how I made up. I want to see.
So that means you also understand that okay, so that was one of the things I had to understand. One of the things I understood why I was being ghosted was because I was looking for things in people they could never give me.
Gotcha.
And instead of them being an adult to say, this is what you want and I can't give it to you, so we're going to part ways, you just ghosted me.
Everybody doesn't like that conversation though. You know, like, and I understand
Then that's why I call it 5-year-old ghosting. Because it's very elementary to me. Yes.
No, it's not.
If you are a grown adult, in my case, grown man, and you cannot have conversations about your feelings, your emotions, you need to go grow up somewhere.
I don't think
and
it's that.
It ain't with me. Like
K.
K. Michelle said, you can't raise a man.
You can't, and that's very, very true. I just think it's hard for some people to have a definitive.
I don't care how hard it is. Sit down.
It does matter. It does.
Sit down.
Because people do not handle rejection well. Some people literally like there's a reason that there's episodes or a show called Snapped because people don't handle rejection well. I don't want to sit down with you and tell you for the 16th time that you did something wrong with me and you snap and grab a fucking knife and stab me. Sometimes I'd rather you just figure it out in your own time and I take a step away from you.
I'm sorry. Ghosting also leads to people feeling rejected.
Well,
and those people also come to your house, break down your door, and stab you. So there's no difference. At least one I can see coming. No, there's a difference. One I can see coming. Because if I see you walking in that kitchen, I can run out the door. I can do. You don't know.
If I see you breaking into my house, not only are you committing one crime of breaking and entering, especially if I didn't call you over here, but you're giving me a little heavy foot. Well, hopefully you don't come at night while I'm sleeping. But if you come in the day and just knock the motherfucker down, we gonna be rumbling. I'm not telling that story.
Don't tell that story.
We gonna be rumbling because I ain't no way you better come check me on some, oh, you didn't respond to me today type shit. If you do that, that's why you're gonna get ghosted. Don't do that. Don't check me on where you've been at for 24 hours. Don't do that. Don't do that. I had a life before you. I'm gonna have one with you, and I'm gonna have one after you if you choose not to be in my life according to what I can handle. That's why I feel like ghosting is an appropriate option for adults that can handle rejection. If you can't handle rejection and you want to be big and bold and realize that I ain't talked to you in a couple of days and won't come knock on my door if you know where I live, do that and see what happens to you. That's just my energy. That's just my energy. Because sometimes I don't want to be next to you when I'm rejecting you. Some people can't handle that.
So text them, email them, call them.
But if I've done the things to tell you that
send them a Snapchat message.
No.
Instagram.
Because then that
Twitter.
defies the point of ghosting. Why am I doing all that if I'm ghosting you?
Because there's other ways to communicate that you don't want to talk to them.
Nah.
If you feel like they're going to handle the rejection bad, because no matter what, if they handle the rejection bad, they're going to show up at the door regardless, actually. If they're that type of person. It don't matter what's going to happen to them once the door comes down. But if they're that type of person, that's how they're going to handle it anyway. So there's nothing you could do to prevent that because that's who they are. Goes back to my point. Whatever people do have nothing to do with you.
That's a solid point. I just think ghosting is situational and just like any
Yeah,
other.
but ghosting says more about you than it does about them. It does.
Okay, that's fair too. But I'll take the charge whatever ghosting says about me. Because
Okay.
I like me, and I like how I handle myself in relationships, and I think I have a lot to give to another person. So I'll take the charge of whatever you think ghosting is about me, because there's probably 10 things that about me are wonderful, but you can't see because you focus on ghosting.
Well, they can't see anything because you ghosted them.
Well, you ain't the person for me.
True, but they can't see this wonderfulness you talked about because you left them in the dirt.
But that's because I didn't need them to see it anymore.
Cool.
I wasn't pressed for them to see it.
I just want people to be fair. I mean, but clearly it means that you're okay with that action. I'm not. So if you want to date me, I'm gonna need you to have on your big nigga underwear and come at me correctly because I don't play the radio. Okay? Cool. However, I understand that's not how everybody is, but I would hope that my vibe is attracting my personal vibe, not my brand, but my personal vibe is attracting my tribe of people that are like-minded like me, who want people who express to them the fullest extent of their emotions. If they're not happy in the relationship, they're willing to come to me and say, I'm not happy, I think we should go our separate ways, rather than not answering the phone for 7 days and then I just gotta figure shit out.
Point. But
So
I feel like if I've already explained to you,
clearly you feel like what you doing is correct. So go ahead, keep doing that or whatever. Because listen,
my inbox is not dry, so
well, mine is don't fill it up neither, but it's dry. But
so
it's cool.
I'll take my chances or whatever I'm doing. That I'm doing something right.
That's not what you're doing, right? But we won't get into that on here. So I just want to thank Myles for coming on to the podcast. I feel like this is exactly what I wanted. This is a very organic conversation. that started from his own true feelings of ghosting that led into this amazing podcast that I am now blessed with more than one episode, so I'm excited. Thank you guys for tuning in. And before we go, Myles, tell the people where they can find you all across the internet.
So I am pretty active on my socials. My Twitter name is Mini_Myles_away.
Too many underscores.
It worked when I made it like 10 years ago.
All right, well, just delete all the underscores
and then I tried to coordinate my Instagram name, which is _MylesAway_. I tried to coordinate it with my Twitter name, but apparently somebody in the Twitter universe already has that name _MylesAway_. So I don't really appreciate that. But for right now, it's been working. I think if you type in Myles Away on some platform, you might find me. You might find me.
All right, so you can find him on Twitter, Instagram, and
I don't like giving up my Facebook.
That's fine. Twitter and Instagram, you ain't got to give it out. Listen, my Facebook is very personal. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this once. I'm gonna tell you this twice. If I haven't touched your hand, if I have not met you in person, I've not laid my physical eyes on you, do not request me my Facebook friend.
Yeah.
Facebook to me is my personal sacred ground of social.
Yeah.
I try to keep that to people who actually know me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because every
That's
other
fair.
every other social network,
it's people that you necessarily have not met with.
Right. It's my people that I'm getting to know socially.
They can be mad cool. That's not any shade to them.
Yeah, not at all. Like
we just haven't met yet, or we just not on that tip.
The minute that I meet you in person, and I feel like
boom, right. We can be Facebook friends.
We can be Facebook friends. So all that means is y'all got to get out and meet me. So I always let you guys know when I'm doing events. Speaking of, there's an event coming up on October the 4th called the Relationship Script, which I will implore you guys to join us on the Relationship Script. It's October 4th. That is 2 Fridays from now. And then there's an event October 5th. Yeah, it is almost October. October 5th is the Man-Made Conference that's hosted by my main man, the Big Man Culture. So come out to those events.
Shout out to Big Man Culture.
If you're going to be in the Atlanta, Georgia area, come out and let's chop it up. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for rocking with your kid or the kid. I was trying to say.
Kids.
There you go.
The kids. We love the kids.
I'm Kirkland.
And I am Myles.
And peace out, motherfuckers.